Welcome to another episode of the Blitz. I will be your host, Bryan Greer, and today I will be going over UFC 186, previewing that card, or as I would like to call it, UFC Who the Hell Wants to Fight. As most of you know, this card has had more changes than the times Dana White has changed his mind about who's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. This card at one time was supposed to be headlined by TJ Dillashaw versus Renan Barão 2. And unfortunately, Dillashaw did get hurt in his training camp, so that had to be rescheduled. And then also this card was supposed to be the return of Rampage Jackson. And then of course that would be put to the wayside because of him leaving Bellator in a, I guess, unceremonious fashion, and the courts held that up. So there is some legalities why he's not going to be on this card. So that's going to make it where this card is basically very lackluster as far as pay-per-view cards go. I don't understand why the UFC could have made this free or cut the price in half, but as usually goes on with Zuffa, the show must go on, and they are not giving anybody any breaks. So, with that being said, I will not be going over the whole card because I don't think that really there's a lot of fights in this card that are really going to shake up any divisions or anything like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and start with the co-main event, which is Michael Bisping versus CB Dollaway in the middleweight division. Both these fighters are coming off losses. Michael Bisping coming off a loss to Luke Rockhold in his last fight. That was a very poor performance by him, getting submitted in the second round. Bisping just did not look good at all in that fight. Rockhold was able to basically cut him off, do whatever he wanted in that fight, and take him to the ground, and was easily submitted in the second round. That fight for Michael Bisping was a fight that was going to probably put him back in, the middleweight contention, but unfortunately for him, he was not able to, put on a good performance and was very just mediocre. I don't know if his training camp was not good or whatever the case may be, but I expected a lot more out of him. Now, as far as CB Dollaway goes, he also lost his last fight against Lyoto Machida, getting rocked by a vicious leg kick by Lyoto Machida and just crumpled to the ground and was just finished. This was a very quick fight. That was a fight that was going to really get his name in the talk of the middleweight division. Really a lot of hype behind him, but that was just a very poor performance. I think that fight was over in less than a minute, and for CB Dollaway, just really put him back, as far as trying to be a contender in the middleweight division. Now, this fight was not supposed to be a, co-main event on a pay-per-view, but because of, Rampage not being able to fight on this card, it is now, and now I think that this fight is going to be very back and forth. I think that it will stay on the feet. Michael Bisping is able to use his, boxing skills, I think, to keep it on the feet. I think he has pretty good takedown defense. CB Dollaway is known as a takedown technician, but I don't see him having much success against Michael Bisping, being able to take him down. So I'm going to think this is going to a decision and that Michael Bisping will win this fight. It seems that Michael Bisping gets more chances than anybody else in the UFC as far as being a contender or anything of that nature. So even though if he wins this fight, there's no way I think that he should be a contender, because if he was not, a part of the UK, coming from the UK and being British, I don't think that he would, be getting so many shots at co-main events, main event, fights, because every time he seems to, get a little bit of momentum going, anytime he fights a top contender, he seems to just get, pretty much run through. So this fight, not much as far as, title contention or any of that nature, but I do believe Michael Bisping will win that fight. So next we're going to go ahead and get into which I believe is another fight that should get more promotion, the flyweight title bout between who I believe is the most underrated fighter in MMA, Demetrius Johnson going against Kyoji Horiguchi, who I'm not sure is ready for a title shot. I know that Horiguchi has won 9 straight fights, but in his last fight against Luis Gaudnot, he was very lackluster, I believe. It really put on a good performance as far as, striking, gave some good, leg kicks and, had a couple of flurries in the second and third round. But as far as, making a statement, he did not do that in that fight. And, Gaudnot is not a fighter that is really a title contender or anything of that nature. So I think that in order for him to get a title shot, he should have at least finished Gaudnot, and that was not the case. So he is very quick. He is very elusive, can come in and out with his striking, but he is not a takedown, technician at all. He is all about his striking. Now, as we know, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson can do it all. He is an incredible takedown technician. His takedowns are just technical as possible. He is crisp with them, comes in and out with his striking, and continues to get better at striking. As we saw in 2013 when he beat Joseph Benavidez with a vicious KO in their rematch. And his submission skills are about as good as they get in MMA. And we all know that he is the fastest fighter in MMA. He is so in and out, elusive, can just cut off angles, comes in and out all the time. This fight right here, I just see Demetrius Johnson being able to take down Horiguchi at will. Horiguchi's okay with his takedown defense, but going from Luis Gaudnot to Demetrius Johnson for him is a whole nother level, and I don't think he's going to be able to defend the takedowns of Johnson. So I believe that Johnson will win this fight. I'm going to say he wins this in a third round submission, continuing to just, be the flyweight division king. He continues to just get better every time he comes out to the octagon and fights. I don't know what you can say about him. I don't understand why the UFC does not give him more promotion. This guy is an incredible fighter. He comes out every time, puts on a performance. He's either going to get a submission. If he does go to a decision, he is going to be a dominant decision. He has not yet really been tested. I know people say that John Dodson tested him, but he really won that fight clearly, in my opinion. And he has defended the title 6 times. I don't understand it. I think this guy deserves a lot more credit. The MMA media doesn't seem to give him a lot of, shine, when it comes to time for him to fight. I'm not seeing him get a lot of pub, with this card and everything since he is headlining it. But you can't blame him for the lack of, contestants. He just runs through whoever they put in front of him. And I believe that he is the best fighter as far as pound for pound MMA right now. He just does not get tested. He does not ever come out and have a lackluster performance. Every time he comes out, he is just on top of his game and continues to get better. So I really would just like to know why Dana White and Zuffa does not push him more. I know that he's a little guy. I know that the heavyweights are the crown jewel of combat sports, but with his flashy style and very technical skills, I think that he should be promoted a lot more, because he is the true definition of a champion, and should get a lot more credit for what he has done to make the flyweight division very credible. And I just want him to start getting more credit. So with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts about this card. Do you think this is a worthy card being on pay-per-view? Give me your thoughts about Demetrius Johnson. Do you think he deserves more credit for what he's done in the flyweight division? Do you think the UFC should promote him more, push him more? What do you think about Michael Bisping and also CB Dollaway being a co-main event? Do you like it? Do you not like it? So I really want to hear your thoughts about what I had to say and on this card. So with that being said, this has been another episode of The Blitz. Remember to like this video and also subscribe to our channel. Until next time, take it easy.